you've been waiting for. All right, first I would like to introduce you to our editor of Nashville Lifestyles Magazine, Cindy Watts. Come on up, Cindy. Cindy will be interviewing the guest of honor. So here's your mic, Cindy.
Thank you, Brian. So, I've known Jason Aldean for probably over 20 years, and this is the first time that I've interviewed him in front of an audience. So, we're super excited. Look at that. Jason has a new album coming out in April. We're going to talk about the new album. He's going to sing some songs, and we're just going to hang out and have a good time. Jason?
Jason, are you here? Oh my God! Oh my God!
You rock, Jason!
Some Georgia fans up front, like it. All right. Well, thanks for having me. Thanks for doing this tonight. I appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. Super fun.
So, like I said, I've known Jason for 20 years. So, 20 years and 30 #1 hits, right? That's the story we're telling.
Yeah.
So, tell me though, what it was like at your house in like 2003, before you started having hits.
The cupboard was bare at my house in 2003. You know, I moved to Nashville in November 1st of 1998. I got to town and, you know, signed a publishing deal. I was writing songs for Warner Brothers, and I think they were paying me about $15,000-$20,000 a year to write songs, and which is not a lot of money. And so yeah, I just kind of came to town and started trying to get my foot in the door. And you know, I'd had bands down in Georgia and Florida and played shows down there, but you know, it was kind of time to make the leap to Nashville and come here. Michael Knox, my producer, saw me playing in a club in Atlanta and signed me to Warner Chappell writing songs, and that's how I got into town. And over the next few years, I'd signed a deal with Capitol Records. I'd lost that deal. Just kind of had a lot of ups and downs, stuff like that. And in 2003, things were not good. So I lost my publishing deal and was kind of just looking for jobs back at home and making to move back home and kind of regroup and figure out what my next move was going to be. And you know, Broken Bow Records came to the table not long after that and kind of changed everything. But 2003 was pretty rough.
Yeah, I heard that when you went to play that showcase, it wasn't even for them. You were playing it for somebody else, and they just happened to be there.
Yeah, well, you know, we had a showcase. It was at the Wild Horse Saloon down here on 2nd Avenue, and you know, I feel like at that point we had played showcases for every label in town at some point or another, and the label we were supposed to play for at that particular night didn't show up, but another record company did, which was Broken Bow, and basically offered me a deal that night. Kind of said, hey, we want to sign you, and you know, I'd heard all that stuff before, so I was kind of excited, but still just didn't know if they were full of shit, you know what I mean? So, this town, there's a lot of those people, so you know, I'd heard this, oh, we want to sign you, and they'd be so excited, and they'd be, you know, really amped up about something for a week or two, and then it would kind of go cold, and then you just, you know, they would kind of ghost you a little bit. So I just kind of thought, man, you know, it's cool. I appreciate you guys wanting to sign me. I hope it happens, but I'm not getting my hopes up until we actually sign some papers. And it took a little bit, it took a few months, but we finally got it done, and that was kind of how it happened.
So when it did, how quickly did life change? Like, what was the first big thing that happened?
Nothing. I mean, I feel like in 2000, I kind of signed my deal, if I remember right, I signed it at the end of 2003. And I spent basically all of 2004, you know, finding songs, cutting the album, you know, going out, playing some shows, kind of knocking the rust off a little bit, because we had, you know, I've been in the studio a lot. I moved to town, I was writing a lot in the studio. I wasn't really out playing a lot of shows at that time. So I had to kind of get back out, play some shows, knock the rust off a little bit, and really just kind of get ready for the launch of my career that was going to happen in the early part of 2005.
And then Hicktown hit.
Hicktown hit in like the spring of 2005. We released that. I think the album came out in June. And yeah, I mean, and that was just one of those things of like, all right, you waited your whole life, and here's your first single, and you know, just cross your fingers and wait to see what's going to happen. And it's a slow climb for a new artist. It's a really, really slow climb, and you know, each week you may be moving a spot or two on the chart, and then you'll get jumped by, you know, an established star will jump you and knock you back a few spots, and then you'll inch your way back up. And I think Hicktown, if I remember right, was on the chart for over 40 weeks, 42 weeks, 44 weeks, something like that.